Welcome to the Virtual Health Revolution, the podcast dedicated to inspiring health coaches and clinic owners just like you to explore the heights of your potential in the digital era. I'm your host, Karen, and together we'll uncover the secrets behind successful digital transformations in the healthcare industry. So welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Virtual Health Revolution podcast. I'm here with Dr. Bart. I'm so excited to have you on. Thanks so much for coming to have a chat with me.
Glad to be here, Karen. It's been a minute. We did this maybe a couple of years ago, and we've obviously done a lot of work together. So glad to see you. Good to be back here.
Yes, we have. We've done lots of Health Made Simple shows together, which we'll get into in a minute. But why don't we start? I always love to hear people's journey of how they kind of got here. How did you get into, you do so many things now, and I'd love to touch on all the things that you're doing. But where did you start? Give me a backstory of Dr. Bart.
I'll do my best. And I say that because things move so fast. And it seems like every week we're just like shifting gears and recalibrating and moving again. So
you really are.
Yeah, really. So let's see, where did it all start? So I guess I'll go here. About 30 years, been in almost 30 years now in chiropractic practice. I do a bunch of different things. So I'm also licensed as an acupuncturist. So I still have a brick-and-mortar business where I'm in the office about 2 days a week. And then once you and I met, then we kind of expanded some things. And then I started doing a fair amount of virtual. So when people think that I only work 2 days, it's not true. I work more than 2 days. I just see patients in my office for 2 days a week. And then I do virtual on the outside of that. For the most part, that is one committed day. It's really like a half day. And we see most of our patients then. Often in the world we're in right now, we're blessed to have this problem, but because we can't fit them all in on Thursdays, we have to start to sneak them in on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So there's been some overflow. And right now, just FYI, anyone listening to this, we are looking for people to join our team nonetheless.
Okay.
So we've hired some cool people.
What's that? So that you can expand that, like have more virtual practitioners be able to take virtual consults.
Yes, 100%. So we've really been getting the message out there, and I'm only one man gang right now. So it's with my other responsibilities and things that I do in my life, I literally can't handle all the consults, which is a good problem to have. So, but at the same time, it doesn't feel good when you're in service, frankly, to have to be able to say no to someone. So again, it sounds like a good problem, but it doesn't feel like a good problem to tell someone no who's had a chronic health issue for a decade and they've been referred to you by their friend, and and you're their hope, and you got to say, hey, I can't get to you for X amount of weeks. I literally hate when those moments happen. So we're going to try to fix that up and figure out how we can get some more good team members on the team. So I have the virtual consults we do, and then I still have my concierge coaching program, and many iterations of that, and it's in an iteration right now where I really enjoy it much more than I did.
That's good.
So
it has a lot of iterations.
Yes, and I'll be happy to elaborate on this. So there was times when I went out and I wanted to do concierge coaching, and I did it, and then I was like, oh, I don't like this. And it felt more like babysitting, and it felt like I was dragging people around. I had to motivate them every time I got on the phone with them. And I had to reset that. So I actually, I remember sharing this with you, that kind of stopped the program as soon as all their contracts were done. I didn't re-up it with anybody. Decided that I had to sit back and take a look at this and see who I wanted to work with, what type of individual, who was I looking for. A lot of people will spend money with us, but I wanted someone energetically that aligned with the things that I was trying to do, that wasn't taking my energy, but really kind of excited me to work with them. So we still have the concierge program. Of course, we have our organic cafe that we opened it up. It's probably been 3 years now.
Wow, has it been 3 years?
I think it has.
By the way, guys, if you are in the area of like Seagrove Beach, Florida, go check out their organic cafe. I got to this year, which was awesome. I actually got to come visit you, and anyway, just a little plug for your cafe, which is exciting.
And I'll throw this plug into. I still tell everyone it's the cleanest cafe in the country. I mean, we have the cleanest food. We're 100% organic, not kind of sort of, but 100%. And so this is the other fun part too. So then we also, in this journey, these last couple of years, my wife and I got some land. We have a farm now. And then I planted an orchard with my wife and, a friend of mine. So kind of learning some of that stuff. And then we have 150 plus chickens, which I've never had a chicken in my life, which is, I love those little critters. They're awesome.
If you want to see Dr. Bart versus chicken versus rooster, check out his social media channel there, because you've had some rooster challenges.
Yeah. So the rooster's still around. He's still attacking me. I'm still trying to figure the purpose of him in my life. And I think it's a bigger meaning somehow. What's kind of neat about the chicken thing is that now our farm supplies all of the eggs for our cafe. That was never really by design. It just happened. So it's super cool. Yeah.
But that's awesome, because I love that you for your cafe, like, you guys care about every ingredient that you bring into the cafe. Like, if you can't find, I mean, really, you almost couldn't find eggs that the chickens are being fed good enough stuff. And so then, like, you use your eggs, right?
Yeah,
like,
100%. So, for example, you can buy organic eggs that are pasture raised, but they still feed them organic corn. And it's just not a natural food source for them. So they do get inflamed to change their omega-6, 3 profile. And that's not the magic of an egg. So egg might be the world's best food if it's from a chicken that is living its best life. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, love that. Okay, so organic cafe.
So the farm, so we got the cafe, the concierge program, the brick and mortar, the virtual, the farm, and then
now a pet food store.
yes. So we just started this one. So it's a perfect fit for the audience. If they don't know, my wife and I, we have 8 dogs, and they're a big part of our lives. We rescue dogs, we help heal them up, just like we heal up humans. We take some of the worst of the worst, and some we rehome, and obviously some we do not rehome. So that's why we have 8 dogs. We love them. They're all either English or French bulldogs, and a lot of people think that they have health issues, but really what they have is lifestyle issues. And so
same as people, right?
Same as people. Yeah, if you don't feed them right, you don't move them right, you don't get them thinking good, they're gonna have problems. So we do the best what we can there, and so now we have this dog food store. It's going to be called the Dog Kula, and Kula means family or tribe. So the idea is that, most people think of their pets as part of their family, and we want to start to think of that way in terms of the consciousness of how they feed them, and, and just kind of treat their little best friends. So we're going to have the best of the best food. I'm going to give all the credit to my wife. She is the one that sits down with every single company and grills them. I am impressed. Yeah, I'm literally impressed by her willingness to just dive deeper and deeper and deeper, and not necessarily look for the bad stuff, but looking for that product that is worthy of putting in, the animals that we love and sharing with our community. And super excited about this as well. We found in perfect alignment with us a vet who wants out of the vet world and practices holistic veterinary medicine. And she's going to be coming later part of this year. So we're super excited. Yeah, super excited. Yeah.
So cool. Okay. And on top of all that, you're doing a lot of speaking.
Yeah. So a lot of my time right now, so when I am out of the office and I'm not in, the brick and mortar business, I've been on the road a fair amount, and that's been awesome. It's given me an opportunity to reach out to more docs. So I do a lot of teaching of functional nutrition and functional medicine all over the country. So I've been to all different cities and states. I don't even know which ones. I don't even know where I am half the time, which is great. And I just got back from Orlando, which isn't too far from me, and I got an opportunity to speak to a big group of chiropractors down there, a couple thousand people. That was absolutely fantastic. So, I like the direction that a lot of the practitioners are thinking and moving about right now. So it inspires me to see a lot of the professionals out there, and not just chiropractors. When I speak around the country, it's not always just chiropractors. It could be anybody looking to learn functional nutrition and functional medicine. This particular one in Orlando was just chiropractors. Yet it's exciting now, where the seminars used to be like smaller in number, and they're growing in every city that we go to. That they're just growing in numbers of just men and women who are looking to learn other ways to help more people, which is fantastic.
Yeah, which is what we want, right?
Yeah, amen. Yep.
Totally. I'm going to say on top of that as well, you still create a lot of content. So you are, you have been regularly, super regularly, daily, I would say almost, creating content online since I met you, and I think it's like almost 6 years ago now.
Yeah. So we do. And so, and of course we have the podcast too, which,
Yeah.
we just went past our 200th episode. And,
Yeah.
and for what it's worth, for all the listeners, I want to say something. Do not let a damn thing I'm saying right now impress you. I promise you, because you're right. It's little. If you're going to be impressed by anything, only that I'm willing to do it. I
Yeah.
promise you, I do not have this all dialed in. I do not have this all perfected. The social media is a perfect example. I have no plan, Karen. You know that. I speak the truth. I get in my truck. I got a couple dogs in my truck. I click the button. I go live. I send a message. The one that came to me that morning, usually when I'm either reading or in meditation or something. And then I go to work, and that's it. I don't even have to do my hair, nothing. So I just that's it. And,
Yeah.
in
But I love that because that helps you be consistent. I think a lot of docs, people in general out there will overthink it and then not do it. Like you don't have to have it dialed in. It's way better to be consistent and actually put some stuff out there and get people listening to you and get people talking to you. I mean, you might not have it dialed in, but I'm sure there's been opportunities that have come from just continuing to put the message out there, right?
It does, because you get feedback. That's the beauty of it. So the more I put out, the more feedback I get, and then it just kind of keeps the ball rolling. And I've even gone through a couple of iterations from that. They used to be a little bit longer. Our attention spans are shorter now, so they're shorter. That's it. That's it. And no one ever told me that. I was just looking at my own style of looking at social media. That if something's 5 minutes long, I probably don't pay attention anymore. But if you're going to feed it to me in 20 seconds, 60 seconds, I listen. And so it's been super helpful. And I'll add this for anyone that's listening and you're wondering, should I do it? Or I don't know how to do it. I'll tell you this. One of the biggest benefits is that, hands down, it makes me the expert in my community. And I can't emphasize how incredibly important that is. I'm the one that people see regularly talking about health. So I am the health expert. And if someone in your community, even though they might not be a fraction of the clinician that you are, and you're listening to this, if they just start getting on social media, they will be revered as the health expert, even though you might be the one who is. So it's funny, but
it's so true.
It's so true. And it's in the back of my mind all the time. If I slow down or stop it, I'm kind of leaving the door open for someone to kind of take my throne. so I'm okay with just being like, yeah, I'm going to share. And it's never, I'm not salesy. I guess you could be if you wanted to. I don't think that would be wrong. And in a sense, do I sell? I do sell the idea, the concepts and ideas that I'm sharing with you, I think would be better for your life. Do I even give protocols every now and then? Sure. I don't have a set way other than consistency is the king.
Yeah, I think consistency is the king. And it's so true how much authority you get just from being out there. And like the podcast too, the fact that you've got a podcast, that you've been doing over 200 episodes, that you do it every single week, it gives you more authority in terms of, as you said, people see you as the expert. You've got these things, even if you weren't. You are one of the most. I work with a lot of docs. You're one of the most knowledgeable for sure. But even if you weren't, there are ones, as you said, who are less knowledgeable, less actually good as a practitioner. But if they talk more on social media, people will go to them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's so important that we all understand that.
Yeah.
If and I see it all the time. I will see people that have no business talking about health, popular, if you want to call that, whatever, popular. And it's just because they got kind of they're just on social media. And listen, I fully understand that for a lot of us, listen, I'm not 30 years old. So for a lot of us, these, phones and these devices and technology are not our forte. But there's a good chance that someone on your team at least knows how to open the apps for you and click on, like hit this button, go live here, type some words in over here, and can elaborate on whatever you're doing. And I will tell you this. This is the part when I talk to so many practitioners, they think that they don't have something to share. And it is farthest from the truth. That especially if maybe you've been practicing for a long period of time and just social media isn't your gig, most likely you have some of the most valuable stuff to be sharing because you got experience. You've got knowledge, you've got passion, you got things that you do want to share. And let's just say that you haven't been in practice for a long time. I could say the exact same thing. Listen, what you do have is a relentless pursuit of helping people. And if you have that, let the world know. just share with them the knowledge that you have in your brain. Keep pushing it out. I'm gonna go one step farther. I know I'm just talking, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
love it.
One of the things you said there, you think, and thank you for saying, you think I'm one of the more knowledgeable practitioners out there. Karen, I'll tell you, because I put myself out there so far, I've had to level up my education.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doubt about it. So I find myself staying abreast to the hot topics, to the most relevant topics, and things that I never knew about before, because then people are asking me, hey, Doc, what do you know about blank? And I don't just say, I don't know. I figure it out. I have an
You find
opportunity,
them.
this
Yeah.
downtime, right? So I get an opportunity to go back. And most of the time, because most of the men and women listen to this, you have a foundation in understanding systems, organs, and glands. So every label out there is relative to you. Because
Yeah.
if we bring it always back to the root causes, the systems, organs, and glands of the human body, what the mind is or is not doing, then we have a position that could probably help any individual out there.
Yeah, so true. And I think when you start to think, "Oh, I don't have anything to share," you, to be honest, you're almost thinking about yourself too much. If you can just change it and think about the one person, like it doesn't have to be like 10, thousands of people listening. Is there like one person that would benefit from the information that you're sharing? And there's always got to be one person that's benefiting from the information. If you try and think about that person rather than think about we get caught up about how we're going to sound or how we're looking or how, if you can think about the other person, I think it's easier to create content.
One of the ways, what sometimes for me that'll do, it's very easy way to come up with topics, because I still see people, in clinic, we have the brick and mortar, or I'll do consults with them. Whatever that topic is that day can be a
Yeah.
topic for tomorrow morning for live,
Yeah.
for the social media. Because if someone's walking in your office with, there's 1,000 other people that could be walking in your office. So
Yeah.
why not talk to them about it? And
Yeah.
I find that it's always super relevant. If anyone shows up in your office with it, there's probably at least 1,000 other people out there that have the exact same thing. They don't know where to go.
Yeah. Yeah. What about when docs say, I don't have time? I mean, you've just said all these things you're doing. I reckon there'll be a lot of people that said, how do you manage your time with all that then? I don't have time to do this all the time.
Okay. I'm probably going to answer this in a little different way. So,
I hope so.
yeah, this is what has become really kind of real for me in my life, that time is limited. Time is not a fair excuse. It's just not, because it's kind of what I call a non-starter. Every one of us has the exact same amount of time, but everyone's doing a little bit different with it, right? There's some people that are poor, and some people are millionaires, some people are sick, and some people are healthy. Everyone's doing a little bit of time. Some people work out every single day. Some people say they have no time to work out. All right. So I'll explain that. So, because I sit back and I wonder why I'm doing as much as I am now. And I'll tell you why. The short answer is because I'm healthier. All
Love
right.
it.
I'm going to rewind this. So probably I'm 54 years old now, and roughly 15 years ago, really 42 years old, I hit my worst, my absolute worst on many levels. I was essentially, I had gut issues. I had adrenal issues. My father was dying. I had all kinds of stuff. And it's very common for especially male entrepreneurs to essentially hit their worst between 38 and 45.
Okay.
My health was going downhill. I was not eating as good as I could have or should have been. I wasn't exercising as much because I was getting too busy, all these different things. And so I ended up with the capacity only to go to work, get exhausted, come home, sleep, and do it again the next day. And Karen, I had to do a gut check, and literally a gut check, because I had such issues with my gut. And the bummer was, back then, there was no functional medicine, at least not prevalent, right? So I had to get healthy. And that's when I literally had to do things that I was uncomfortable with. I had to start to practice dietary restrictions that I'd never done before. I had to follow circadian rhythm, all of these things that people find a little bit more natural and easy today. All of them, I needed to find my own path on. And so when people ask me nowadays, like, Bart, you don't drink. Why? Well, what happened? Were you an alcoholic? Or like, no, none of that. It just doesn't serve me in my life anymore, anywhere. I know, and I'm also talking to everyone who's listening to this, alcohol doesn't make you a better human being. You are better without it than you are with it. It's just true. I had to come to that realization to get healthy. I had to stop letting things that were poisoning me, people, chemicals, foods, they all had to go. And then some other things happened. So I've had a lot of loss in my life. So I lost my father, my mom passed this year, my younger brother passed, two of my best friends passed, two of my dogs passed this year. In those lessons, I realized I don't have time to not be the best version of me.
Yeah.
And the best version of me was someone I never knew. I'd never dialed in what it took to be the best version of me when it came to eating, to moving, and to thinking. And as I really committed to those things without any excuses, and these weren't things I was telling other people about, they were just thinking, you know what? I'm going to do the best thing for me today, every single day. And then when I did that, I found out, oh my goodness, this version of me has a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of mental clarity, where the ideas, thoughts, and visions come. I get downloads, Karen, and I think they're coming from God. I would have said this 10 years ago, but I'll get them daily, every other day, when I'm clear, when I'm well rested.
Yeah.
So when people tell me time, it literally kind of almost makes my heart sink a little bit and say, you know what? You're not the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And when you dial in how you move, how you eat, and how you think, and you relentlessly pursue that, and it's, you never get off that train, the best version of you start to show up, and there's no, I don't know what the limit is. I have no idea. And
Yeah.
that's the difference. That's the difference.
I think that's so awesome for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're in healthcare trying to do social media, but like everybody across the world, right? Because it's so true. As you're saying that, I'm like, it's so true. And it's so much more about like energy and how you feel than time, actual time.
It is. So now, when I look at my schedule, there's a lot of things going on. I love them all.
Yeah.
I love them
Yeah,
all.
you don't feel stressed. You're not like tired looking at that schedule. Whereas other people might look at their schedule and it stresses them out, or it makes them feel, it depletes their energy. Whereas you can have a schedule like that and it actually brings you more energy.
Yeah. So back when I was 42, Karen, I almost left this profession because I thought it was burning me out. And I started to say things like that. I started saying, man, I'm burnt out. I can't. And I started saying all of those outside in excuses. I started blaming the outside world for why I was tired and run down and all that kind of stuff. And man, I love this profession. Like you think about it, like for everyone listening, if you're listening to this, you're probably in the service industry. And then, which also means that you probably deep down love to help other people.
Yes.
So you get to love what you do and get paid for it. And I would also say you get to choose your pay scale. That's another conversation we can have. You get to choose your pay scale. If you don't like your pay scale, change it. Because when you get the pay scale you love, all of a sudden there's a congruency, and you love doing what you're doing, and you see your full schedule and you're like, well, this is worthy exchange. So I'll do it all day long.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at your schedule and it doesn't feel good, you probably have to change your mind a little bit about fees. And I had to go through many iterations of this. Many times I had to tweak and bend. I had some people push me and say, you can't be charging that for what you do. You were one of them, right? So those were valuable lessons. And then you get to that spot and you go, man, you're telling me I get to go have this consult, or I get to go speak over here, and the exchange is going to be this. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me
Yeah.
up.
So different, isn't it? Because I feel like a lot of the burnt out docs I talk to, that's one of the big things. They're charging they're doing chiropractic in their office, $50 an adjustment, and they have to do so many all day, and they're not able to do the things they want to do with each person because they're not able to, in their mind, they're not able to charge. And it's once you can get to where you are, I think you feel less burnt out, right? Like, as you said, it just feels easier.
Yeah, so I've been there. I've been there where the volume I had to produce in my day, at the end of the day, like it was costing me more than I was receiving, and it was in energy, it was in my health, it was in my vitality, and I didn't know. I could remember that feeling all the time, thinking that I should feel grateful for being able to adjust that many people a day, and kind of being pissed off about it
Yeah.
because I just didn't feel in exchange with the universe. And then I would have the excuses of, well, people in my community aren't going to pay that or whatever. And if I learned a valuable lesson a long time ago about entrepreneurship, I heard this like one time and I'll never forget it. And it was basically, the next level for you is not the next big deal or price jump. It is about your mindset.
Yeah.
Change your mindset, you make the next move. You don't change your mindset, you do not make the next move. Yeah.
So true, isn't it?
So
And then how do you change your mindset? What do you do?
what do I do? You know, it was almost this borders between embarrassment and and whatever. So I tell you what,
Motivating.
I get up in the morning and I go outside. I made a commitment a while ago when I decided to get healthy again. I decided that I'd exercise every day. I get like funny other things too. I was looking around at what things I was doing and words I was using that was making me weak. And I decided to tackle them. And one of them was that I recognized, this is so funny. This is not answering your question. I'll get back to that in a minute. But I recognized that I started saying things in my life like, oh man, it's too hot. Like, oh, it's, down here in Florida, it can get hot. I'll be like, oh, it's too hot. I don't want to exercise outside. I don't want to ride my bike to let's just take the car, or oh, it's too cold out, or it's too rainy, whatever. And then I had a download, and basically the download was, hey, listen, you're letting your environment dictate your life. What kind of life are you going to have? So I woke up the next day and said, that's it. From this point forward, I exercise outside, and I'm going to exercise every single morning by 5:30. And that was a commitment I made. Now, to do that, I have a little ritual I do in the morning. So the first thing I do, and now granted, it's the very first thing I do is probably I pour my coffee and I drink my water. So I get those two things. I go to my spot and I do my morning gratitude. And that is what changes it all for me. I do a 3-minute morning meditation, if you want to call it a 3-minute gratitude meditation for 3 minutes. I literally am just, as much as I can tell the universe all the things I'm grateful for. 3 minutes is a very long time. So I have to go through other people. Then I usually have to go through the things, everything, my cars, my dogs, my house, whatever, everything. And if I get distracted, I have to start over. In our minds, I mean, you know how many times a week I get distracted? So I can't explain to you. More often than not, I'll tell you that. Because we're I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't think it's just me, but we're on to the next move. So I started that way. And then after that, I started to think of what I'm worthy of.
Wow.
So what are all the great things that I'm worthy of in this world? And I start to think about them. It would be resources or love, or health, whatever it may be. And that's where my stinking thinking comes in. That's when I start not actually even, no one's out there with me. No one's inside my head, but I even start to think small. And I start, instead of saying, well, I should be a mega multimillionaire, that I don't even say it because there's a part of me that doesn't believe it. So then I have to stomp on that person and basically I am worthy. And so literally I have to say it out loud, and I'll be like pounding my chest. I'm worthy of all the great things that this world has to offer. This is the embarrassing part, but it's true. It's true. I got to do it. I have to shift that state. So I do it physically. So I get myself into kind of like a little bit of a physical state, and it works. It literally works. Here's what I tell everyone, listen to this. If you haven't explored doing a gratitude meditation, I don't care if it's a minute or 3 minutes, you do it, your day's gonna be better. I'm not saying you're gonna have a bad day if you don't do it. Yet I do know this. If I start my day with a 3-minute gratitude moment, it's gonna be a good day. It just is. It's so hard to go from love and appreciation to anything else. It is. It is. And if you're, even if you're an incredible human being, I think that's something that needs to be rooted every day. So my morning ritual plays a massive role in the things that people would see from the outside world right now. And now, so I have a cold plunge out there too. and give an example. I hate the cold. It makes me, I don't like it. I know it's like super cool and everything, but it was one of the things that I knew that if I could overcome getting in a cold plunge every single morning, there's probably not too much that day that was going to be tougher than that for me, quite frankly.
Such a good frame.
Yeah.
Because I feel the same about the cold plunge, right? And I haven't gotten it yet, but you're right. Like, hey, if I managed to do that this morning, like I can do anything. It's such a good frame for the day. I like that thinking about it rather than like, oh, it's good for inflammation or good for whatever. Because then I'm like, maybe I'll do some other things. Cold, I'm not into. But if you frame it as like, well, that's the hardest thing I've done now. The rest of the day,
nothing will be harder. So, and then I had this other aha moment. For the people out there that are doing cold plunge, maybe they can relate to this. So no doubt people always ask me, so you do cold plunge? Yeah. So is it great for your joints and arthritis and like all that stuff? Yeah, I'm sure it's great for all that. But I'll tell you what, now I think I'm addicted to the dopamine push.
Of the cold plunge.
Yeah. So when I do the cold plunge, and I'll do about, somewhere between like 3 minutes and 15 seconds, maybe just shy of 4 minutes. And took me a long time. Trust me, that took me a long time to get up to that. So do not be impressed by those numbers. I used to just get in and get out. So
that was
so getting in and getting out.
My hardest thing of the day was just the in and out.
Yeah, no worries. Like I get it. So anyways, now when I get in there that long, so fundamentally what happens when we get in cold water, when the cold water hits our skin, the oxygen starts to seep deeper into the body to preserve. And so you lose a lot of the oxygen circulation in the external muscles and whatnot. And then it goes to the organs. Then from the organs, if you stay in long enough and they start to get cold, then your body is going to send that oxygen up into the brain to protect the most important organ of the human body. When that happens, it creates this, I don't know the science behind this part, but it creates a dopamine push. And that dopamine push for a lot of us will last 4, 5, 6 hours. Literally, Karen, for me, it's as if someone like sticks a needle into my arm with a bag of like dopamine, which is basically just going to make you love things all day long. That's it. So that part of it, that feeling, that emoting is literally, I'm still not going to say I look forward to it. I look forward to the outcome.
Yeah.
Which I think goes right in line with social media. I'm not telling anyone to look forward to social media. Look forward to the outcome.
That's so true.
Right? Like you don't even have
life that you just that's just the case. Like just because the outcome is what you want.
Yeah. So we all know entrepreneurship is not an easy ride. Being healthy is not an easy ride.
Yeah, but neither is being sick, right?
No, it's not. Yeah, so it's going to be tough, folks. So, if you're coasting, it's only for a moment.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not going to just coast, and I think about, when I really think about health at this point in my career, I think one of the interesting and more important things that I share oftentimes with people is that to be healthy means you're going to have to get uncomfortable. It's going to be inconvenient and most likely unfamiliar. And if you can wrap your brain around that and still go forward, awesome. Come on, I got a place for you. And that's kind of how I've kind of set the stage for my concierge coaching, that I want the person who is eager, quite frankly, to get that next level of unfamiliar and uncomfortableness to get to the next outcome.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people like you and I and a lot of these listeners out there today listening to this that understand that their next level means they have to get uncomfortable first. And as a result of doing that, it's going to bring them to that next level. And there's so many other entrepreneurs out there that looking for leaders, frankly. And I can't say this enough. Trust me when I say this, everyone listen. There are so many people out there that are looking for, if you are interested in one-on-one, it's not for everybody. But if you are looking for one-on-one concierge coaching program, there are so many people out there that are looking for someone that takes all of this confusing stuff, all of it, wraps it in a little package and says, hey, dude, do this. Then we're going to do this. Then we're going to tell me your feedback. How you doing? and they keep seeking more, and you keep leading the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, so actually tell us a little bit about your concierge coaching program. Because when you say that, what does that look like? That's a higher ticket program where you're working one-on-one for a set time period or ongoing?
Yeah. So it starts off set, meaning that I asked them to make a 6 month commitment to me. Because I'm going to give them everything I got. We typically will start with a pretty extensive, pretty elaborate series of labs. So I have a comprehensive male panel, like a blood work they'll do. And I dive deep into, I'm looking to the best I can, and every practitioner does a little bit different, but there are some answers that I want to be able to answer for them when I see their labs. So because cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in our country, probably worldwide, I go right there. I say, listen, I'm going to run every possible marker that lets me know where you're at. I run, of course, your lipid panels. I run all your insulin resistance markers. I run your ApoB, ApoA. I run your particle sizes, hemoglobin A1Cs, C-reactive proteins. I run everything. Anything that any person, if you wanted to know the current status of their cardiovascular system, I know it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I let them know exactly where we are. Like, hey, keep going, and you will be part of the statistics. Follow this lead.
I'm sure it's almost everybody that comes to you, right?
Pretty much everyone.
You're actively doing something, that's where you're headed.
Yes. 100%. And for them to know exactly where they are and having a strategy, it is exactly what you and I would want. I would love for someone to show up and tell me, hey, Bart, do exactly this and you're going to be better. So we do a pretty elaborate. So when I say that, I also test, I do saliva testing. So I test like adrenal function. I always want to, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And like most of us, like you're on the edge of adrenal fatigue every day, so I want to know what are the biggest fish I got to fry first. They typically run an organic acid test to see if I'm dealing with any full molds or funguses and stuff like that. There's some others, full hormones, all that good stuff. So there's a fair amount. So it's pretty elaborate. We charge a decent amount of money. That's roughly between, it could be as low as 4,000, but maybe as high as 6,000 for that lab panel. And that would include my consult with them. And then, typically the client will spend probably about 20,000 with me in the first 6 months, give or take. Yeah, that's about right, between supplementation, labs, and their monthly fees. Here's what's interesting. Okay, here's what's in. I tell you now that I enjoy it more than I ever have. Most of the people I work with, men and women, they only want to meet with me once a month.
Yeah.
Yep. They have access to me, Karen, 24/7. They have my cell phone number, and they know. Listen, I'm gonna be in bed most nights by 9:30, whatever. I get up at 5. You can text me, whatever, 4:45. Text me. I'll probably answer you because I'll be wide awake. But they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. Time is too valuable to them. They're doing the same thing I'm trying to do. And they have their professions and they're trying to go for it all. They're trying to start their companies and take care of their families and do all that kind of stuff. And they just want to know that they have a great team member that's got their back. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And I have great relationships with other people that I work with. Past the 6 months, tell them there's no more contracts from this point. You don't want to work with me? It's okay. Give me a text, call me, or just stop paying. One or the other. I'll get the message. Yeah. I do it that way, Karen. I don't want that contract because I never want someone to feel like they have to work with me.
I've always been the same in my agency. Totally different field, but I do the same thing. Because if it's still a win for you and a win for me, then let's go forward, right?
100%.
If it's not a win for one of us, then go find something that is.
Yes.
Right? Like 100%. Nah, I'm the same. But I love that sometimes you charge a bit more or they're just the right fit for you. And then they're not calling you every 5 minutes, right?
No. And that's where I made a mistake before. That's where in the past I was doing like once a week. I felt like I needed to give them at least that much time. And it wasn't about time. It was about me showing up 100%. And I do deep dives about people. I know them. I know what's going on with their family. I try to do all of that so I can understand who they are as a human being, physically, mentally, spiritually, and give them my best guidance moving forward. And so far, I like to think we're having some amazing results. Yeah, and the way we do it for the most part, unless someone leaves, I don't take anyone else. So
So you only see a set number of people. They've got to like, somebody has to leave to take a new place. Yeah.
yeah, and I got to be very careful with that because sometimes I can put like I can end up doing too many personal coaching calls.
Yeah.
They do take time. They do take time. So I typically set aside, a half an hour, an hour for each one of those. So if I can commit to 10 or 12 hours a month, that's pretty good for all the other things I like to do.
Well, I love all of that. Look, we're almost at time. Is there, just before we finish up today, is there anything that if somebody's like just starting out on their virtual journey? So they're kind of like in a brick and mortar, they haven't done any virtual consultations, they haven't got a concierge program, they haven't done any social media, but they're seeing these people doing things online. Is there anything that you would say to them for these people that are just getting started? Any like, I mean, you've given us lots of words of wisdom, but is there anything you want to part with?
I don't be one thing, but this is what I would say. One, do not be intimidated by what you see online. Okay.
Oh, love that. So
Yeah.
true.
Do not be intimidated. There's like 7 billion people in our country.
Yeah.
Not in our country, but in the world. Like, so there's more than enough in every one of us. There's people out there that just aren't going to resonate with me. Right. So they might not resonate with you, Karen. They're going to resonate with the next person doing the thing. So just know to do it. So the second part is, and this is where I probably excel. I do not wait to get it perfect.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, both of those.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh, waiting to get it perfect. Also, you just wait too long. Things move fast. Just get it out there. Close enough is good enough is actually way better than having a perfect something.
Yeah.
It
So
really is.
we get great through experience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just have to do things, just have a lot of experience. And so the more you're doing it, the better potential you have at being great at something. Yet to try to come out of the gates of being great, listen, if you've got a couple million sitting in your pocket and you can hire all the teams and all that kind of stuff, and the last, I would say this too. I did hire you. So like, I'm not saying that just to plug you here, but I did eventually say, okay, I've taken myself as far as I can get. When you and I first met, I was doing Facebook Lives. That next level for me was to then hire someone who knew how to get me to that next level. So just like you're asking people to hire as a coach or whatever it may be, or do your program. So I think those three things right there are probably the advice that I would share.
I love all of those because I hear all three of those things all the time. One, there's too much competition already. Everybody's already doing it. There's too much out there online. There really isn't. There really isn't. People say that to me about advertising. Oh, maybe they're focusing on a diabetes niche. They're like, oh, I saw another practitioner talk about diabetes online. Really? Do you know how many people in your country have diabetes and get diagnosed like every day? There's another practitioner talking about it. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Don't we need more people talking about it? Like, come on. Right? It's like
100%. So, don't
don't
be intimidated. Don't wait until perfection has. And then when the time comes, and probably sooner than you think it's going to come, reach out, find someone that has the ability to take it that next level.
Yeah, hire the right team around you. Well, I love all those things. I always love our chats. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Always. Thank you for having me. Anytime you want me back, you just let me know.
Awesome. We will definitely do that. All right. Thanks so much, everyone.